the focus that we're really keeping tonight on this program is on the Indian Cricket Board itself and whether the BCCI really is part of the problem. Does the Indian Cricket Board lack transparency? Should it be brought under the Right to Information Act? Well, joining us on the program tonight is someone who's been fighting for that for a long time now. Lawyer and sports activist Rahul Mehra joins us from New Delhi this evening. He's had this long battle with the BCCI to try and make it more accountable. We have Farooq Engineer and Dino with us here in the studio. We have Sharda Ogra and Siddharth Bhatia, our commentators, joining us tonight as well. Let me first ask Sharda and Siddharth. Sharda, to you first. The Supreme Court's comments pretty scathing today on the way the BCCI is functioning. The court saying there is definitely some kind of irregularity. The BCCI's attitude is a problem, and that viewers may not be able to basically keep quiet if the BCCI doesn't act. Do you think the Supreme Court's pretty much summed up the way the BCCI has responded to this?
Pretty much. I mean, this is the way what we've been saying for years, that there are irregularities, nothing is explained, and there is sort of an attitude of almost disdain towards anyone who asks a question. I mean, today Ravi Shastri referred to the media, and he said the muck factory is at work again. I mean, we are proud to be the muck factory, frankly, because there is a lot of muck going around, and the Supreme Court is spot on, and they are, I think, the one body whom the BCCI do not have the whatever it is to stand up to and say that buzz off, we are doing what we are doing, which they do it with everybody else, but they can't do it with the highest court in the country.
We've got Mr. Chandu Borde, the former chairman of the selection committee, also joining us tonight from Pune. Mr. Borde, I know you feel that many times it is unfair, the kind of attack that takes place against the Indian Cricket Board and how the BCCI gets blamed for everything, but how would you look at the Supreme Court's strong observations today on the BCCI's response?
Well, frankly speaking, I'm rather surprised, because a couple of days back when I read in the paper that BCCI has got nothing to do with this, but today I'm very happy that the court has told them to frame some laws as far as these IPL matches are concerned, and it's a good thing, because it's a disgusting thing that they spot fixing is taking place, and I am very, very surprised and shocked that the cricketers of a very repute, they are indulged in this kind of activities. It's a shame that these cricketers are getting so much money. In spite of that, they are falling for this unwanted thing that is not done in cricketing history.
But Mr. Borde, do you believe the buck stops with the Indian Cricket Board?
Frankly speaking, we never thought of making.
Sure, but Mr. Borde, do you believe the buck stops with the Indian Cricket Board?
Well, now the Indian Cricket Board. No, I would say the only cricket control board, because there were no rules formed. Just now the Supreme Court has told them to form the rules and I'm very happy that Mr. Shukla was on the TV earlier, and I heard him saying that they will be deciding about framing the laws, and they will talk to the the sports minister plus Mr. Sibal, and it's a good thing from the cricket's point of view.
You have a lot of faith.
This is a gentleman's game, and it should become
Mr. Borde, you have a lot of faith in the board, and clearly in those who've been running cricket in this country, who haven't probably done much to take steps in the past. Let me take that to Rahul Mehra next, because Rahul, you've been fighting this long-running battle with the board to make it more transparent. When you heard the Supreme Court's words today, was that a sense of vindication for you that this is what you've been trying to say about how they respond to every crisis and how they function in general?
Well, Nidhi, yes and no. Yes, because thank God that it was some scathing remarks were there and it wasn't just dismissed in limine. So thank you, Supreme Court, for that. But I think much more needs to be done at the Supreme Court level as well. There is a petition which has been pending of AC Muthaiya for God knows last how many years now. And the Honorable Supreme Court said that they will be forming a larger bench to look into the conflict of interest of N. Srinivasan. His 3 years are about to end, and the Supreme Court hasn't even bothered to constitute a larger bench for that, such a serious issue. And I think that goes to the root cause of the problem, because N. Srinivasan, when he addresses, we don't know whether he is addressing a franchisee concern or whether he's addressing a concern of billion people who are concerned about the well-being of Indian cricket. So, you know, there are other interests of people like Ravi Shastri and Sunil Gavaskar, and now the entire Jing Bang, becoming his master's voice. All of them have commercial interests with the board. The board has almost silenced them with commercial interests. Then there is, you know, Rajiv Shukla and the kinds who have infested the entire board with the political interests, and the people just refuse to leave and budge. You know, imagine if people, the ones that I'm going to name, if they can't pass a law on sports bill, who else can? Sharad Pawar, Rajiv Shukla, Farooq Abdullah, C.P. Joshi, Jyotiraditya Scindia, Arun Jaitley, Anurag Thakur, Narendra Modi. I mean, these are the people in the ruling class and the opposition. They can pass a bill, whichever bill they actually think of, in no time in the parliament. And yet, these are the same people who scuttle the sports bill every time it gets to the cabinet. These people can't be believed at all. You know, they say one thing, they need to walk their talk. They only talk, and they give absolutely meaningless assurances to the nation. If they really mean business, they need to do only one thing. The sports bill is going to be placed before the cabinet in the next 1 month. Can they assure the nation, all these people that I've named, can they come on your channel and assure the nation that people like Sharad Pawar and the entire other names that I've given you are now not going to be the ones who are going to again scuttle the sports bill, and the sports ministers who have been trying to get these bills passed in the cabinet and in the parliament. The only thing that changes is they lose their job. Their birds are taken away. So there is a huge conflict of interest.
We did desperately try to get Mr. Rajiv Shukla to come on this show today.
Because they have conflict.
Sure, and answer some of those questions, but he wasn't willing to do that this evening, and you know, we've seen him avoiding that. Siddharth Bhatia. Okay, Siddharth Bhatia, you've written a pretty scathing piece on the IPL, saying today that the controversies that are surrounding it have been serious and bordering on criminal, and you've listed them out, and you know that the BCCI hasn't shown any great determination, as you say, to clamp down on unethical behavior. Is this the time, therefore, is this the best time, therefore, to talk about reforming the BCCI, to completely changing it and turning it around?
You know, as I mentioned that this was going to happen in many ways, because right from the beginning, I won't say criminality in the original kind of inception of the BCCI, of IPL, but you could see the signs emerging. You know, conflict of interest was there right in the beginning. In the 6 editions that there have been all kinds of serious charges against it. Last year there was a sting against 1 or 2 players. The BCCI, which lives in a combination of denial and arrogance, said, no, these are stray cases, they are speaking out of turn, they are exaggerating, instead of coming out and saying, here is a independent body, independent set of people who will then look at it. This was coming. Now imagine the plight of a player. He says, my bosses are making money on everything. They make money as administrators, they make money as owners. They make money on the 6s, they make money on the 4s. There is advertising being sold, etc. So what if I do a little bit? The temptation is so great because of the sheer money involved and the lack of accountability. It's a devastating combination. Now, your original question was, is this the time that the BCCI will come to its senses? I'm afraid I'm a little cynical, because there have been so many cases in the past, and the BCCI just goes on. We don't know its tax status. The sports minister in parliament said in November 2010 that the income tax department had shown a lot of leeway to the BCCI. We don't know what the tax status is. RTI, we don't know whether it's a charitable body or a corporate body. You know, it says it represents the nation, but does it pay any kind of tax at all? It, you know, to arm twist cricket boards all over the world.
That.
You've got an organization like this.
We
don't know. And if you have an organization where the administrator, owner, controller, policeman, and final judge is the same person, it's a recipe for absolute opacity and disasters. More will happen. in fact, and I'm sure more is going to come out.